The sun. Its radiant energy is the source of all life. But what brings life can also endanger it. Ancient man and modern man share the same needs: to gather and conserve heat, to warm themselves in winter, and to shield themselves from its burning in summer. Ancient man had merely to deal with the changing of the seasons. Modern man, through technology, can now expose himself to greater extremes of heat and cold than ever before. Like his ancestors, modern man has learned to use his technology to protect himself from these extremes. To allow man to explore space, scientists had to help him withstand both the sub-zero temperatures of the vacuum of space and the searing, friction-induced heat of re-entry, from minus 460 degrees to plus 250 degrees Fahrenheit. They knew that heat transfers three ways: by convection, the rising of hot air; by conduction, direct contact of a hot object with a cold one; and most important in space, by radiation, the infrared rays that flow from the surface of any warm object. The sun, the earth, and even the human body all emit radiant heat or radiation. Logic told scientists that man could survive in space in relative comfort if they could shield their astronauts from both the intense heat of direct sunlight and from the scorching heat of re-entry. They also needed a way to keep the astronauts alive when their spacecraft traveled away from the sun and into Earth's shadow, where temperatures plunged to several hundreds of degrees below zero. To insulate the spacecraft or its passengers by traditional means would require layers of insulation many feet thick, something impossible to do in a weight-conscious spacecraft. Their answer was paper-thin layers of reflective material, much like aluminum foil, surrounding the space capsule and its passengers. This reflective material protected astronauts from the unbelievably scorching heat of direct sunlight by reflecting heat away from the spacecraft. Alternately, the unbearable freezing cold of sunless space was kept at bay by the foil's ability to trap the astronauts' body heat and to keep it from escaping into the unbelievable coldness of outer space. It even shielded them from the fiery heat of re-entry. It was truly amazing that something so effective could be so lightweight and low cost. As with a lot of space technology, the idea of using layers of reflective material has proved to be equally useful on Earth. Everyone, it seems, wants their dwelling to retain heat in winter and to resist it in the summer, and save them money in the process. People have long recognized the value of insulation in slowing heat transfer. The thicker the insulation, the slower the transfer. Cost, though, usually prevents builders from using enough insulation to stop transfer altogether. In any case, insulation slows the conduction of heat from warm attic air to the room below, but does almost nothing to slow the radiation. Your roof radiates solar-generated heat to the insulation below it. The insulation absorbs the heat and gradually transfers it to the material it touches, principally the ceiling. This heat transfer makes your air conditioner run longer and consume more electricity. Tests by the Florida Solar Energy Center show that 93% of the sun's radiant heat gradually passes through a home's ceiling to its interior. Recently, some builders have begun using reflective materials to prevent this radiation from entering. Unfortunately, many do not, and others only apply it to the exterior walls of their home, leaving the roof, the greatest source of radiant heat gain and heat loss, completely unprotected. Still, other homes predate the space program and simply couldn't employ this inexpensive, simple, yet amazingly effective technology until now. This amazing building material has brought space-age technology down to Earth and put it to work in America's homes. Adapted from NASA's lightweight space-age reflective material, a strong, tough enough to walk on, 5-layer, heat-blocking product, well-suited for the rigorous abuse of home installation. We've laminated and bonded 2 layers of ultra-pure aluminum sheeting with a reinforced inner layer of polyethylene woven fabric, creating a strong, lightweight membrane. Easily installed in any home, old or new. The 48-inch wide sheeting is simply rolled into place and can be easily cut to accommodate attic obstacles. Most important, it works. In tests conducted in Tennessee, Florida, Illinois, and Texas, a single layer laid over existing R19 insulation reduced heat transfer to the buildings in summer by 39 to 80% and reduced heat loss in winter by 23 to 50%. What this means for the homeowner is an average reduction of 22 to 47% in his heating and cooling costs. If you're depending on traditional forms of insulation alone to insulate against heat gain and loss, you're losing half the battle. 2 heat lamps, simulating the sun's rays, are directed at identical pieces of insulation. They represent the radiant heat absorbed by insulation in a typical attic.